Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to another video, and this is a paid request for DavieVids. I think actually the last one he requested, so thank you for that, for your generosity and your patience. Thank you so much, man. But DavieVids wanted me to do a review, re-review, however you want to put it, on The Crow from 1994. And for anyone that wants to request any type of movie reviews, re-reviews, topics, tier lists, rankings, video game playthroughs, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. As long as I stop stumbling over my words and barely talking throughout this damn thing. But maybe that's actually kind of fitting because it is a film that's hard to talk about. So maybe the stumbling and the bumbling of words earlier is like some kind of pulses in my brain firing off and hesitation of, wanting to talk about this film, but doing so, number one's a paid request. Number two is a good movie. The Crow is a damn good movie. You guys know the plot. I don't need to go over the plot of the film. But from the great aesthetic design of the city, from the opening with the camera work going around, much like Tim Burton made Gotham its own character, this movie definitely makes the city its own character. And the fires going around and the dirty, dreary streets, crime-ridden, definitely gives you that Gotham vibe. It's got a whole great look to the film. There's certain shots that I swear they were inspired to do stuff in The Matrix and other movies throughout, but The Crow doesn't get much of the credit it deserves. It's a very good-looking film. Alex Proyas, however you feel about the director, he can make a really good-looking film. Same with Dark City, another very good film, which I liked. You know what? I even liked iRobot. I know, and there you go. I mentioned the Will Smith film, and that cat I have is complaining. He's having a strike against Will Smith, I know. But I like that film, I can't lie. I do like iRobot, I still do. Yes, it has a stupid scene where it's like a big advertisement for a certain pair of shoes, but I do quite like iRobot. Racist stuff that Alex Proyas was that Gods of Egypt or something? That was embarrassing. I can't remember what the hell else he did. Did he do... No, that was someone else. He didn't do Warcraft, someone else did. I can't remember what else he's done lately. But The Crow, Dark City, iRobot, I do like those three films. The soundtrack, I mean, how could I go on without mentioning the soundtrack? The soundtrack is fucking amazing. I had that CD and listened to that CD all the time. I would say it's easily... It may be in my top 10 favorite soundtracks of all time. Just for how consistently good those songs are whether it be The Cure, Big Empty by Stone Temple Pilots. It's my favorite Stone Temple Pilots song. I love that song. Time to take a ride. Keep calling me. Or boom. Do new do do new 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 do boom new do new 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 or My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult during the big shootout. I listened to that CD so much and it just kept my fucking adrenaline pumping throughout it. But I also want to give credit to Graham Revell's score. The score was very good. I remember there's a lot of movies throughout that would take pieces of their score and use it for advertising. It is a very haunting score with certain nice quiet moments of melody that I think is really good asset. I mean, the soundtrack kind of gets more of the love over the score, but the score is a very solid pulse point for the movie as well. And both sides is just a great. And people sometimes underestimate the power of music. Oh, you talk about the music? How good is it? Just no. People forget sometimes how music can be such a powerful point of a movie. I'm not talking about just bringing some random song from the '80s and plugging it in. Sometimes that would be fun and cool. Don't get me wrong. But like, when a soundtrack becomes a soul of the movie, there's so many moments that you hear a piece of the music and then the images and the movements and it starts fluctuating in your mind and you remember that. The supporting cast, whether it be Ernie Hudson as the cop, whether it be the villains like David Patrick Kelly as T-Bird, or whether it be the other people who play Tintin or Fun Boy, and Tony Todd, may you rest in peace, Michael Wincott. They all do a good job as the villains. Granted, I've heard Michael Wincott is a bit of a creep. I know my friend Fabio, which I did talk to him. Thankfully, he's doing well. I know he's not coming back to YouTube. It's a shame. But definitely going to miss you, man. He, at one point, did a video where he met the girl from The Crow and talked to her. And she was very gracious with her time. And she mentioned that Michael Wincott had said some things you're not supposed to say to a little girl, and that apparently Brandon Lee was pissed off and was ready to quit the film, and seemed like Brandon Lee wanted to beat the shit out of him, which maybe that should have happened. But then she said that Brandon Lee was a sweetheart. So Michael Wincott I do like as an actor. As a person, he sounds like a scumbag. So, but yeah, love the Tony Todd and again the David Patrick Kelly. He was the guy Warriors come out and play, and he was in 48 Hours. He was in John Wick 1 and 2, more so John Wick 1, as a guy, to clean up the dead bodies and stuff, as long as you give him enough of those gold coins. Not the Super Mario Brothers gold coins, the John Wick World gold coins. Let's see, yeah, Ernie Hudson, always great to see him in that. Always been an Ernie Hudson fan ever since Ghostbusters, Leviathan, many other films. I like that he's a bit of a smart ass to his superiors. What's that? Looks like blood, Lieutenant. Never read the comic book it was based on. Never read it. I know the guy, was it James O'Barr? He wrote it after a loved one that died, and it was a way for him to kind of work through it. I think he kind of knew, or like got to know Brandon Lee, and I read up, I don't know if this is true, but I read up that he regrets writing the comic book. Because it gets in his way, well, if I never made the comic, there never would have been a movie. And if there wasn't a movie, then Brandon Lee would be alive. I can understand why he said that, but it's definitely not his fault at all. But I do remember reading somewhere where he said when what happened to Brandon Lee happened, he regretted making the comic and he wished he never wrote it in the first place. So I mean, I can understand, but it's not his fault. I mean, hell, there were people up for that role like Christian Slater, and I mean, if that was the case, then Christian Slater would have been killed. Someone else would have been killed. It's not his fault. It was the people on not doing their fucking jobs at fault. And then the head-ups wanted to rush production. It's their fault. But the movie itself, Brandon Lee, one more kind of say about Brandon Lee's performance. This is one of those films that is a really good film, but I never care to watch it. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds stupid, but anytime I watched this film, I get a big sense of sadness watching it. And then, in a very illogical way, I get pissed at the film for existing. Because I sit there and go, if you didn't fucking exist, Brandon Lee would be alive. Which, I mean, it's a stupid way of thinking, but that's just my feelings on it. Is I remember, growing up as a kid, I knew Brandon Lee before Bruce Lee. Meaning, watched his movies, knew of him. When I was a kid, I heard the name Bruce Lee. The only film I had seen was a film that didn't even star him. It starred an exploitation Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee with L-E. It was Bruce the Superhero. And I thought that was Bruce Lee for a bit because I didn't know there was this whole thing where a bunch of people pretended to be him and cash on the name. I thought, oh, well, Bruce Lee, martial arts. I didn't see Enter the Dragon or those other movies till I was like in my 20s. Because it just wasn't around. Torrent wasn't around. People in my school didn't talk movies and stuff. They didn't talk martial arts. But Brandon Lee, I would watch Rapid Fire and loved it. I saw Showdown in Little Tokyo and I loved him. Showdown in Little Tokyo was my introduction to him. And I love that movie. And I go back and forth like what my favorite Brandon Lee film is. Many times I say Rapid Fire because he starred in the film. I've said in the past, always Rapid Fire because he stars in the movie. But if I'm being honest right now, I will say my favorite film Brandon Lee was in is Showdown in Little Tokyo. Because that film to me is so insanely underrated. That film does not deserve to just get a fucking Blu-ray by Warner Archive with nothing on it. All the stuff that was cut out because it was a much longer film, but a lot of the shit was cut out. I know Mark L. Lester was mad about that. That's why the movie's only like an hour and 17 minutes. Granted, it cut all the fat out. So it's a really quick action-packed movie. I love it for that, but I'd be curious to see what shit that was cut out. But the stuff between him and Dolph Lundgren and the variety of action scenes and the humor and the one-liners. When we used to fish off those naked chicks. Rapid Fire I do enjoy, but the combination of Brandon and Dolph, and Brandon Lee gets to fight Tatsu from Ninja Turtles. You have the right to be dead. You know, I love that stuff, man. So I do quite like Brandon Lee and Rapid Fire, but I would say, as of right now, if you ask me, my favorite Brandon Lee film is Showdown in Little Tokyo. Again, I would say but those are the films I love, is those two. So, The Crow was coming out, and then I heard what happened, and you watch it, and I'm like, oh, this is a really good film, but then the story where he is killed, and he comes back for revenge, and then he rests in peace at the end, go back to the afterlife. You can't help, like other people say, it's like you can feel the ghost of Brandon Lee among the film, as dumb as that may sound. So each time I watch it, I just get this that becomes distracting. And again, it's a damn good movie. The way it's shot, how it did stuff that so many things. How many fucking movies copy the bit where put the fire down as the symbol, in this case, of the Crow? Daredevil from 2003. The Punisher in 2004. Fucking Batman. And The Dark Knight pisses. That somehow Batman had the fucking time to make this big design on the side of a building, even though Gotham is in deep shit and the cops are underground, but he has all the fucking time. I don't want to make this fucking fire logo on the side of a building. Who the fuck did that? And on the entire side of a fucking building. I hate that movie. Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight pisses me off. More like it. Yeah, I'm talking about The Dark Knight Rises. I did not call the Dark Knight pisses. Just pisses me off. But anyway, how many movies you'll copy that? And Brandon Lee just brought humor. You can't tell me Heath Ledger never saw this film before he passed away. You tell me for Joker, he didn't one time watch this film? There's certain things Brandon Lee does that does remind you what Heath Ledger would do as the Joker. I love the makeup he has on and all the shots of the Crow grabbing and flipping up and coming down and showing the audience that he can heal himself without having to tell us, hey, he can heal himself. When he's running on the rooftops, that don't remind you of Trinity later on in The Matrix? Which I don't know if this is true. I remember hearing a rumor that if they could have, if Brandon Lee was alive, the Wachowskis would have tried to get Brandon Lee for the Matrix. I mean, I don't know if someone just told me that was bullshit or if I read that it was bullshit, but that's what I remember at one point hearing. And who knows? Maybe if Brandon Lee was alive. It's endless what could have happened. It's endless. It really is. What could have happened, what should have happened. It's not wall-to-wall action, but when it's there, it's stylistic. I mean, the whole shootout scene is great. I love the music they use, and Brandon Lee does not use a lot of... That's one of the only times he uses a little bit of his martial arts, because he wanted it to not be a martial arts film, to be this type of film. Because he didn't want to be looked at as just a martial arts guy. He wanted to be an actor. He wanted to show that he could do more. I think he could have been capable of, because he gave a really good performance. At times he's laughing, like when he gets shot in the hands, like, woo, you know. Or he's at the pawn shop, and it's like, every one of these, it's a life. You know, just fucking with it's like the Reigns or something, he's fucking with John Polito. Character actor has been in a lot of stuff, who has his pawn shop. And a lot of good lines, you know, victims, aren't we all? Or, guess it's not a good day to be a bad guy, huh, Skank? Or, is that gasoline I smell? And there's a lot of good stylistic shots. When he shoots with the shotgun, you see all the rings blasting out of the shotgun shell. And then however the hell they did, where the person, or maybe it's a mannequin they put there, and the explosion right in front, and the big practical explosion. A lot of good stuff in the film. I guess I got at the end of this because, Sally, I have to. During the making of the film, of course, Sally, they fucked up on the gun. They didn't have the guy that checked the gun. I think they gave it to, like, that day, like, the prop guy, and he didn't do what he was supposed to. And then they were supposed to rush it, and apparently there were other stuff that happened during that film. I think that's what the lady that played the girl had told my friend Fabio, that other stuff had happened. It's just that, you know, Brandon Lee, his death took prominence of that. But that, you know, or was it? Yeah, I think that's she had said that. Because I'm trying to remember if she said or Michael Berryman. Because Michael Berryman was supposed to be in the film. Michael Berryman from the original Hills of Eyes as the Skull Cowboy, which was a character in the comic that was kind of the guy who kind of taught and showed the main character who you were, what you could do. It kind of sounded like that guy in the Spawn movie. You know, who showed Spawn what you do this, you do that. I forget that character's name, had kind of like the fedora or whatever. Maybe not fedora, but he had a hat on. Kind of remind me of that type of character. And they try to do, I guess in that new Crow film, they try to have something like that, and it was shitty. On the TV show, it was actually Kadeem Hardison, which was cool. But you know they couldn't shoot those scenes or enough of those scenes to really make it work, so that whole character was cut out. But yeah, they fucked up, so the thing shot out like the speed of an actual bullet, hit Brandon Lee in like the abdomen, and then went to the hospital and died because of it. I know the guy that fired the gun, he felt really guilty about it. In that case, this is a guy that isn't some big star producer who could control everything. He's a guy who's, I don't know, number 8, 7, 10 on the card. These other people supposed to be knowing what the fuck they're doing. And they go, okay, here you go. Here's the thing you use, Assuming they did their job to check what the fuck. Your job is to do this. Like, if you're on a set and you're, again, let's say I'm on a movie set and I'm 10th on the card. If someone hands me this, I'm like, okay, I'm assuming they know what the fuck's going on, and if I do this, nothing will come out of it. Of course, nowadays, it's like, no. Now, sad we had experiences like this, and even that fucking Rust film, which didn't that film come out, and I don't even, if it didn't, I didn't hear anybody talk about the film. Now I would be like, no, I want to check to see there's nothing in the sumbitch because of what happened with stuff like this. But I know that guy, I think he's passed away, but that guy blamed himself. I'm like, dude, it's not your fault. Like, if you were a executive producer, had the power, and you're like, that's one thing, but But you tell like he felt guilty if you look at interviews and stuff. It was just a shit show. I do give some blame to Alex Proyas because you're the director. Being the director means you're the boss. Being the director means you're the head honcho on that set. You're the commander. So if I'm a director, I'd be making sure every fucking gun is safe. You show it to me too. So I do put more blame on the prop guy and the people who were supposed to be there, the producers for cheapening out and not having some people go home. I blame it on the executive producers and those head guys. I blame it on the prop guy not knowing what the fuck he was doing. I blame Alex Proyas because you're the director, you're the head on that set. You should be making fucking sure on stuff. So to me, there's a lot of people to blame. And it's a shame because it didn't need to happen. It should never have happened. Brandon Lee died way too young. What could he have been in? I don't know. Some said he was going to be Johnny Cage, but I don't think that was the case. I think people just say that and put in trivia. He would have made a good Johnny Cage, but Lyndon Ashby did a good job. But there was talks of a sequel to Rapid Fire. Who knows? Who knows? Was The Crow a hit because all the news about his death made people curious to see the film? I would like to think if Brandon Lee was alive, the film would have come out and just it'd be a damn good film. People go, whoa, yeah, check this film out. This is pretty damn good. At least give people in the business notice, oh wow, this guy can really do this, and then possibly give him more roles. Again, I don't know where he would have gone. Could I see him as Neo in The Matrix? Yes. Would they have cast him in it? I don't know. But could I see him in that? Yes. Hell, could I have seen him? Because I think Chad Stahelski doubled for Brandon Lee when Brandon Lee passed away. And there's a couple of scenes you can see of Chad Stahelski, who's going to direct John Wick, little bits where you see him as the Crow. If he continues friendship with Chad Stahelski, if he did get The Matrix, maybe he'd be John Wick. Maybe he would have followed what Keanu Reeves did. Matrix films, John Wick films. Could I buy him as John Wick? Absolutely. Could I buy him as Neo? Absolutely. Who knows? I think he would have tried some dramatic work. I think he could have pulled it off. I mean, could he have been some other action stars that kind of movie was dying by the time you get to the late 90s, and then maybe carted off to direct-to-video films as a paycheck? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know, maybe. But I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know. We'll never know. I like the ways he kills off the bad guys in Revenge, whether it be Tintin with the knives. Oh, I never miss, and he keeps blocking them, and then he catches it. Try again. And then he catches it, throws it back. Victims, aren't we all? And then turns into a damn pincushion. I like that with the daughter's mother. He forces the morphine out of her and takes care of the other guy. David Patrick Kelly, who freaks out, and he ties him up and sends him on his merry way, and then the car blows up. Nice wide shot where you see the car blowing up and fall into the pier, the water. I think that's a cool looking shot. All the little poses that Brandon Lee does, some very cool poses and camera work, where he's standing by the window and the camera pulls out, and then with the mix of the soundtrack and the gritty, dark mood aesthetic, art style. There's a lot to like in the film. There's a lot to like. But again, I was never big on the battle between him and Michael Wincott. I get it. He's wounded. I thought the crow creature was always... A lot of these times, like, the crow easily gets itself captured or shot or killed or wounded. I'm like, you're a fucking crow. You can fly. You go somewhere the far away. You shouldn't have to be fucking caught or captured or killed. You're stupid. But, they gotta find a weakness. So the crow has to be a fucking idiot. And I did. Like, we gotta find some kind of weakness. And so, he's beating them up and stuff. I just compared to the other action and other beats. Something about it I always thought was a bit lacking. I do like the fact that Michael Wincott, when he dies, he gets a spike. Not only through his chest, but through his mouth as well. I thought that was pretty cool. I also like the idea Ernie Hudson... He should quit smoking, but then he gets a cigarette, and he's, oh, fuck it, I quit. Like, Ernie Hudson's a good, fun asset. You freeze it, you're dead. I'm dead, and I move. Or whatever the hell the line Brandon Lee said. And then I like the Ernie Hudson reply earlier in the film, or at least he wasn't doing that walking against the wind shit. I hate that. Talking about mimes. And Ernie Hudson is a very fun asset to the film. And yeah, the movie, definitely a mainstay of video store shelves. That's why they got so many sequels. And I mean, The Crow 2, I think, sucks. The Crow Salvation, I'm not big on. I'd rather watch it than Crow 2 or 4. But yeah. I don't remember much about Crow Salvation, to be honest. I remember being eh. I don't remember despising it. I just remember being with the Crow Salvation. The fourth one, With Your Prayer, was embarrassing. Edward Furlong did not work. That new Crow film is a fucking dog shit movie, man. Huge heaping sack of shit, dog shit of a movie. So fuck, man. Hate that movie. Fucking dog shit. But yeah, the TV show, there's parts I don't mind. Like I like Martha Costa's eventually T.D. Hardison is in a couple episodes. That's cool. Just a little bit of a drive, which is a film I love. Reunion. But I would say it's the best they've done as a follow-up to The Crow, but I wouldn't say I love it either. The Crow, to me, is a one-and-done deal. Brandon Lee was The Crow. He signified that role, the style, the mood, the look, the soundtrack. Lightning hit on that project, and you can't replicate it. How many years did they waste trying to do another Crow film? Oh, it's going to be Bradley Cooper. It's going to be Jason Mamma Mia. It's going to be all these fucking... Like, every other fucking 5 months, there's another actor. It's going to be, I don't know, Mark Wahlberg. It's going to be fucking Bradley Cooper. It's going to be idiot. What? And then it came out and did nothing, and it was a piece of shit. What a waste of fucking time. What a waste of fucking energy. What a waste of bullshit. A waste of bullshit. Called bullshit. Yeah, The Crow. Again, I'll say it's hard to watch because I get so pissed off about what happened. And yes, there's a part of me that wishes this film never existed. So no one would die. I mean, sadly, there are films I like where people have died, stumped people. I don't wish that either. So I know that's hypocritical because I like the film Triple X and I could watch that, but I think that, stuntmen died on that. Not a thing I know. But when they're the star of the film, and the movie's about their death, rebirth, and eventual death again, it just hits so much closer that you can't ignore it. You're going to consistently be reminded of it. And then when I hear the song at the end, It Can't Rain All the Time, I get teary-eyed. Number one, I like the song. I think it's a beautiful song. It can't rain all the time. Good words to remember. And two, there's a lot of terrible people in Hollywood. But a guy that was looked at as a really good soul, that everyone had nothing but nice things to say about it. Whether it be Dolph Lundgren on the show, like all these people had nothing but nice things to say about it, about the guy. He's taken from us, and too young of an age. I mean, hell, I'm older. I got to live more life than Brandon Lee. And something about that doesn't sound fair. And just, there's some... Victor Salva is still around, but Brandon Lee passes away. But Victor Salva, who did all this stuff to little kids, why? To talk to the big man, hey, why? Mind giving me an explanation? Can you give me a little bit of explanation for that? I'll be like Dolph Lundgren at the end of The Punisher. I'll keep listening. Maybe one day I'll get an answer. But yeah. But it's a hard film to watch, but it is still a damn good movie. Damn great stylistic camera work, direction. Love the look of the film. Excellent soundtrack. Brandon Lee. He does the drama well. He does the sense of humor well. He's a interesting, fun character because it's a serious affair, but he can have moments of fun because there's points where he's immortal and he's fucked with these bad guys. So, sometimes like a fun bit of vigilante justice. Good cast. Yeah, a lot of stuff to it, so. Rest in peace to Brandon Lee. would love to have seen what else he could have done and brought us. As a fan, selfishly asking that, wondering about that. And, yeah. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.